because right now we have a phenomenal guy, a super duper guy. Thank you for putting your hand up because I didn't know where you were. And a bit of a different story to Richard, I have to say. I don't know if you got to see any of that, Rhys, so if you came in right on the back, but we are about to bring up a beautiful, charismatic, maverick, champion of mind, champion of body, the beautiful, the great, the funny, Mr. Rhys Davies. So please, please, please give us lots and lots and lots of claps for this man. Look at this guy.
Here she is. How are you doing, darling?
I'm really good. How are you?
Well, firstly, before I say how good I feel and stuff, thank you for having me on your show. Massively, massively grateful, and I appreciate all the work that you're doing behind closed doors to make this happen for us. So thank you very much, sweetheart, okay?
You're so welcome. I'm loving it. I love the different stories that I get to share in this. And we've just had Richard McCann. Richard McCann's told his story about his mother, you know, being murdered, and the way that he's actually taken that wound, shifted it, and become an international speaker, writing books, etc. And, you know, the audience are now starting to see this massive difference that you can make in your life when you start to look like the fear in the eye, the wound in the heart, and just go for it.
Yeah, I do.
And so in comes boxer extraordinaire.
Yeah.
If you haven't followed Rhys on Instagram, you need to get on Instagram. You might find it challenging. He's got about 40 accounts.
Yeah. I believe in branding. What can I say?
You do believe in branding, and I love it. I love it. So welcome, Rhys Davies. So today, we are talking about this wound to wisdom to wealth. And you have a story, boy. You have a story. And I want you to kind of set it for us now, kind of where you are today, and then we're going to go back. So who is Rhys Davies today? Where does he live? What does he do?
Okay, so Rhys Davies, as he stands now, I'm a fully qualified trainer in hypnosis, okay? I'm about one...
Really?
Yeah. So I'm one qualification away from becoming a trainer in NLP, fully qualified in master practitioner, so on and so forth. Now, when I was a kid, Mary, what I want you to understand is I always had this vision of who I wanted to become in regards to the way that I looked, what I had, and my ability to support those around me. And on this call, as we speak to this day, I'm that man, okay? However, it's going to be a really interesting call for you, okay? I've got a few...
Yeah, love it.
Okay? Even though I hit the 7 figures and I got the supercars and I have the 20 holidays a year and I support my mother who's terminally ill, all of that stuff, I'm still transitioning. And everything that I thought this would look like, it isn't. Does it make sense? And I'm transitioning in almost like a bit of maybe like a bit of a spiritual way, because I've got the gold, I've got the art, I've got the whiskey, I've got the 7 figures. It means fuck all to me now. And I've worked 37 years of my life, because I'll tell you about my backstory in a minute, to get out of debt and poverty so I can support my family. Now that I'm here, it's like there's more depth to this period of my life. So I'm in a place where I'm happy, I'm content, I've ticked the boxes, but I'm still searching because I'm not done yet. There's more depth, there's more knowledge to be had. There's more to get from where I'm at. Does that make sense?
Of course it makes sense to me. Please, everyone in the audience, jump in now, because this is, I mean, I'm going to say this is gold, but it really is gold. Yeah, it's like, you look out there, and I think Jim Carrey made that statement, didn't he? He was like, go and get famous, go and get rich, and then see what all this is about, because that's when your life starts.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, right? But everything was fucking difficult for me, Mary, yeah, when I bought my first Lamborghini. Because I got Lamborghini issues, Lamborghini problems, like everything. Honest to God, universally, it was like someone said, okay then, big boy, that's how you want to play. Here's some issues for you to deal with it. Grow through that, big boy. So I just want to say to everyone that's listening onto the call, you know, I'm a massive believer in growth, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. But just be very careful what you ask for, because with every level of growth, there needs to be a new level of resilience. And resilience doesn't come through reading a book. It comes through application. Does this make sense?
I love that. Can we just say that again? Because I want everybody to hear that. And it's going to make even more sense in context when you tell us your story.
Of course.
And Richard just mentioned something about this too. With every level of growth comes another level of resilience.
Man, and TD Jake says it is a fantastic pastor. He says another level, another devil. And I'm a huge believer in it, because here's the thing. We seek comfort, but people don't know comfort is the road to mediocrity. So while seeking this level of comfort and this level of satisfaction, what we're unaware of is that actually keeps us still. So I say to everybody, we need to just consistently just evolve and grow all the time at any cost, because then it's not going to be detrimental to our own fucking life.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I kind of want to freeze frame you right now.
Yeah.
Let's go back, because I want everybody to get this. Because, you know, on the outside is basically what you're saying. On the outside, it looks like I'm at heaven's door, I've got it. But inside those golden gates, you will find that there is a doorway in your heart, in your soul, that is wanting to be more fulfilled. So take us back to little Rhys.
Yeah, man. So Rhys Davies, I'm 37 years of age, grew up in Coventry, from the ends, the rough part of Coventry. And I remember growing up, Mary, man, in a house full of women, and it was just love. I just got love all the time. I got mollycoddled love. But I always remember there was always difficulty around money. In regards to conversation, in regards to getting shouted at if I left the lights on. We were only allowed that much water for the bath, constantly in the emergency electric, beep, beep, beep.
Oh my God, who's had that? Who's had that?
Yeah, everyone comment below. So when you look at a pound less, you like, and you what you're doing strategically turning lights on at a certain time. So that was what I was brought up like. And I remember my mum going independent and moving out of her mum's house. And obviously I had to go with my mum. And we slept on garden furniture for a year in the house, because we couldn't afford any furniture, and we shared cutlery. And to me, that was normal. I didn't feel deprived, but surely I was like, surely I shouldn't be getting splinters every time I'm walking to the bathroom because we've got no carpet. Like, this ain't too cool. And then as I started to socialize and be around other people, I kind of understood that maybe financially we wasn't in the strongest position. Hence, couldn't wear school uniform. Hence, had to get tokens for school uniform, had to get tokens for trainers, got bullied really bad because of that reason, got called fat nigger, got thrown in flower beds and got robbed. And that happened consistently because we weren't in a position financially to look like everyone else in the school, and kids can be ruthless. And I undergone that for a period of time.
How did that hit you, Rhys? How did that feel, that, you know, young guy?
It's very unusual, sweetheart, right? Because if I'm reflecting back now with a mature perspective, it was just normal to me. But if I'm reflecting back now in an honest perspective, it caused a lot of trauma. Because having that happen compounded over a period of time with no father figure, with no role model, no one around me other than women that just mollycoddled me, I had no one to show me the way. And it come to a head, Mary, where I went into school and two people named X, I won't mention their names, they brought in a machete to kill me. So one brought in a machete and the other one brought in a bag with J-cloths. And the police came and they got took to the police station, they got expelled, blah, 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 blah. And I cried traumatically. And I said to my mum, what would I ever do, Mum, if that ever happened? She said, the first thing that you do, Rhys, is that if you go back into school and then you're there, I want you to be sent home for hitting them. She went, no, I will never allow anyone to jeopardize your life without you expressing yourself. So I went to school 2 weeks later and I hit them. And it felt extremely fucking good. And do you want to know why, right? Because I spent every single day and night to that point crying my eyes out of fear. And everyone talks about face your fear, right? I'm not talking about reading a book or making a sales call. These are real life issues that I had to deal with growing up. So it was like I faced my fear and I got respect because of that. And it made me feel a certain way. And I understood there's a massive difference between being over assertive and acting in a way in where you can protect your values and your beliefs at any costs, Mary.
Say that again so that we get it. Say that again so we get it, because there is a difference. But
It wasn't about violence. It weren't about violence. It was about beliefs. Now, why would I run away and why would I act out of fear because someone acted in a certain way to me? Why would I allow them to affect me in that way? So I have to respond in a way in which I felt served me, served my beliefs, served my values, just mine. I don't care about anyone else's. They served mine because I'm not prepared to deal with any conflict by operating out of fear. I'm not prepared to do that. So I dealt with it in a way in which I felt served me, and it did. Because let me tell you one thing, Mary, right? As we grow up, as humans and as adults, we're pulled away from our values and beliefs in so many different directions through Instagram, Facebook, media, YouTube, podcasts. So sometimes when faced in a predicament with nowhere to turn, people flight because they don't know what they stand for, sweetheart. But when you understand your beliefs and your values and what you represent, then you're going to do what's necessary.
Interesting. So it's like you need to know what your values are before you can stand for them, and I think that's an interesting point, because I think a lot of us, and drop in the chat if you're the same, I think we know some of our values, but I think other values are kind of inherited or they're given because of our environment, and they might not always be ours. It's kind of a little bit of an internal dialogue that you get to have where you're like, hold on a minute, who am I? What do I get to do? So Rhys got to punch fear in the face physically. What kind of worms did that open?
Well, it's just really interesting because I then went through this level of animosity and aggression because it felt like a lot of people, as I was growing up, were putting it on me and my brother. Two mixed race lads in a predominantly white area in Coventry. We represented something, we looked a certain way, we dressed a certain way, we weren't your typical guys. People would put it on us quite a lot. And I found that growing up, the mentality of, I stand for something, you're not going to walk over me, then kind of led me down the wrong path, Mary, into, selling drugs and running the doors and, doing things for money that I'm not proud of, but because of that avenue of life that Coventry gave me, that's what happened, you see.
Yeah. And I think, again, in the chat, resonating with this, where have we gone down a path that hasn't necessarily been the most holy, but has taken us to places where we've learned and grown? Like you said, you kind of have to go into those places to learn about yourself. So there was Naughty Rhys. Naughty Rhys was born.
You know what it was, Mary? Can I tell you something from the bottom of my heart? If you look at people today that do that type of activity, they do it for fashion and because they're influenced by music. I did it because Equita Moorcroft and the Gasmen were knocking on my mum's door trying to take all of her money. And I remember, I'm not sure whether you know what this is, right? It's called the Provident, where you can get like £100 loan, but they give you the 2,000% APR. So my mum was paying off her whole life, where she'd pay £5.50 every Monday. And if I had an extra £2, I'd say, "Here, Mum, here's £2." And I won't get emotional on this bloody call either, right? And then I used to be like that. Why are these strangers knocking on my door for? Like, this is my house. I need to do something to get money. And I need to do it quick. So I'm not allowing my mum to live like that, right? Then I started, obviously, selling drugs. But with that, I really understood that it was really bad, really wrong, nothing cool about it. And I thought to myself, what could I do to step away from this? Because I was looking at possibly a bit of jail time. What could I do? And I went to go and buy some music in Coventry, which is where I was from. HMV was on my right. Do you remember the HMV sign? It was purple.
I mean, who remembers HMV?
You remember HMV? And on the left, Mary, was the fucking army shop. And it said, do your best. And I was like, oh, I walked in, man. And Sergeant Clark was there. I still speak to him to this day on my WhatsApp. He was like, big man, how may I help you? And I said, look, cut a long story short, I've just been offered a professional football contract, which I haven't told you about. It was for Preston North End. It was a 2-year schoolboy, 2 years YT and a 1-year pro. But I said, look, cut a long story short, I've got a few issues on the street because I feel that I've rebelled because I just found out my mum had cancer for the first time. I said, what?
How old were you?
17.
So you're just kind of coming into your level of maturity. Like, we've all been 16. We know what it feels like. We think we're cool, but we're not an adult yet, but we're kind of starting to feel adulty. Okay. So
you're in the water. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was a mixture because I found out my mum had cancer. My brother was looking at a very long jail sentence. I was following suit. I had no money. My mum's in debt. What can I do? And I'm not prepared to continue to be illegal anymore. I'm just going to join the army because he said 3 things to me, Mary, that really excited me. Free food. yeah. Listen. Free accommodation. Yeah. And you get paid. I'm in. Like,
there are no more splinters in my feet. No more pennies in the meter.
You understand? I am in, and I'm like, okay, what's the starting salary? And there's something like 800 quid, 900 quid a month. I'm like, wow, I'm in. Like, I can give 100 quid that to my mum. Like, and that was it. Because I was an athlete prior to that at a very high level. I played at several professional clubs. Okay, what it is, I aced all the fitness tests. So from the period of getting into the military to actually go into phase 1, I was one of the quickest recruits to ever get passed through the system.
Right.
I did it in 7 days. Okay. So I did.
Bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah, a bit of shock to the system. Did all that, passed out, and I enjoyed it. One thing that I will say though, Mary, that I haven't shared with anyone is that I joined the army to get away from dysfunction and aggression. And I'm gonna share this, and I'm not sure what repercussions it's gonna have after, but I have to be transparent. Is it actually enhanced it? It actually didn't give me what I need in regards to lose the aggression. You know, they kind of praised it. And then I'm kind of like in a bit of a predicament now because the traits that I had from the streets that I really disliked in myself, I went away in the army to get rid of, but they embraced it, enhanced it, and celebrated it.
So what did that do to the heart? What did that do to the ego?
Mary, man, I was in a predicament because when I joined the military, they took this thing out called DOR, which was discharge of rights. So you couldn't just sign out. Right. So there was this whole bullshit process of you have to wait for a year. So then I was faced with this moral obligation of I came here to commit to becoming a better man. So don't start flapping because someone's not going your way straight away, dog. I rang my mum up crying because when I went there, Sergeant X, I'll say his name, came over to me, says, why haven't you shaved, you black cunt? I said, I beg your pardon.
Sorry for the words, guys. Sorry for the words. I know I say it sometimes.
Yeah, he just wrist, right? Okay. Yeah. He made me get on the floor and do alphabet sit-ups and spell out N-I-G-G-A.
Oh, yeah. And you were young. You were young.
I was young, Mary, and I had a confidence about me that meant nothing the moment I stepped into the army.
I want people right now just to go in the chat and just to presence that, because kind of what we're bringing in is not only kind of what it's like at that age in, like you said, you know, in a mixed race family in White Coventry, going in to kind of go, oh God, my dreams are coming true. I get paid, I get accommodation, and I get food, and I'm able to kind of like serve my parent, my mum. Serve my family now. And you go in there and it's potentially worse. It might be racist. It's, you know, it's aggressive. you know, that pain, has anybody in the chat felt that before, where they've gone into something thinking this is going to help me, this is going to serve me, and actually it's been worse. It's taken you in a place that, you know, your mind, for want of a better word, gets fucked.
Yeah, 100%, Mary. Yeah.
So what did you get to do? Who did you get to be to come through that?
Well, please listen to this, man, because I've not shared this. I won't get emotional or nothing, but it means a lot to me. Okay?
I can see you emotional already, Rhys.
Yeah, right. Mary, yeah, when you have nothing and you come from nothing, you understand? Like, you can't ask your mum for a quid, and you have no father figure, and you have no inspiration, yeah? You do what's fucking necessary to be the best. And it doesn't matter if you get swore at, it doesn't matter if you get beat up, it doesn't matter if people are negative to you, you do what's necessary. So when it was all really tough, and when it was all negative, and I didn't want to be there, and I'd ring my mum crying, saying, "Mum, this ain't for me, I shouldn't have left football." You know what? It all boils down to this. How much do you want to improve, right? Because if you're waiting for things to line up to play in your favor, you'll be waiting until you're dead. So I used the pain that I felt 24/7, and I used it assertively, because that's why so many people call me aggressive, darling, right? I used it passionately, assertively. Why? Because I'm fueled with fucking pain. Simple. It's that simple.
That's interesting, because I think, you know, this is something that we, you know, in my community, in the spiritual community, and you know, we'll go on to more of your story, but there's a lot of kind of, it's all love and light. It's all love and light. And actually, you can't have the light without the shite.
Trust me, Mary.
Can't. And so it's like Joel saying, you know, Saja had to put up with that abuse. Kaylee saying, you know, she's been through something like that. And yet, what we're here to talk about is to take that pain, like you said, and actually super shift that. Because there's got to be something in you that is stronger than the shit that's coming down the line. You know, there's got to be something that is keeping you going, keeping you alive and driving you. And you chose pain. You were like, if that's what's coming in, I'm going to shift that into my fuel.
100%.
So take us forward. Take us forward. You know, how have you shifted that pain?
And you know what? And I'm going to be really honest. As my conscious mind develops and I mature and I lose my ego and I get a little bit more clarity in life, I look back at a billion decisions that I've made, and I'm like, wow, man, I've made a whole lot of mistakes, man. But then I looked at all of the social conditioning that I've had to get to where I've been. Everything's been based on aggression and momentum, because I've never been given anything. Like I've never been told the way. I've never been told how to invest. I've never been told how to, never. So I transitioned myself aggressively through life, but I understood that, you know, the military was really holding me back, because, you know, I'm a unique man and you can't be overly unique in the Grenadier Guards, you know? So I thought, okay, let's get out. And I got out and I stayed in bed for just almost a year. You know, I don't like using the word depression, anxiety, but, you know.
But it was there.
Yeah. I'd stayed in bed, I think it was for about 9 months, sweetheart. I'd get up, I'd make a bowl of porridge that could fit into a bin. I'd eat it because there was that much carbs, fall asleep.
And again, I want to say, who else goes to carbs as their favourite comfort?
Yeah.
Carb me up and put me in a bed.
Yeah, you get me? Fall asleep, rinse and repeat. And I did that for about 6 to 9 months. Just let life pass me by, because there was no roll call, no reveille. I had no structure. And again, I think at this time, I found out my mum had cancer for the second time. So she was dying downstairs. My brother was doing whatever he had to do. And I just had no self-belief or confidence or anything. And I remember thinking, like, I was crying. And because I never had no money, I had a mattress on the floor because I never had a bed. so I could see everything on the floor. And because my self-esteem was low, I didn't use a bin. I used to throw my rubbish on the floor and think, oh, fuck it, like I don't care. And I share this openly because it's the truth, right? But when I threw, I think it was a Boost chocolate bar wrapper, I threw it. I was like, what's that yellow thing there like? And I went over, Mary, it was the Yellow Pages, man. So I've opened up the Yellow Pages to see, and I looked for a counsellor. And I've opened it up at the page, and then the guy whose services I opened it up on was offering a service at a local boxing gym.
Wow.
Out of a back of a bloody boxing room, man. Come on now. So you can imagine how I felt. I went there, I cried for an hour, and fundamentally he said, why are you so upset? I cried, and I won't get upset now, but I said to him, I want to be in a position that people will actually sit down and listen to me, and upon my advice, they change their life. I said that the moment I left the military to a fucking counsellor, and that's the life that I'm living now. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I said there's going to be some stipulations in what I'm going to be doing. He said, what are they? I said, I'm not going to bend to any marketplace because I know it's all fluff. I said, I'm coming in based on where I'm coming from. And I said, people can attach or detach, I don't care. But it's my values to come in where I'm coming from. And
how old were you?
24.
So quite a strong, I suppose by the age of 24, it's quite a strong, and, you know, I'm going to use it, aggressive stance, you know, very masculine, very coming forward. But I really want to highlight this, you know, it's like underneath all of that kind of, these are my values, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm going to, you know, bring myself forward. There's that soft, gentle, emotional shit. I'm doing this because I love, and I want to serve my mum, and I want to serve my family, and I don't want to be in this shit anymore.
Do you know what it is, Mary? I try to do it the other way around, darling. So I try to lead with the softness, right? Like, because that's me. I'm a big fluffy bear. I'm a soft man, right? But I choose to behave in a way that serves me to achieve my goals, right? So I was like this, okay, then I'm aggressive, and that's never going to change for no one ever, okay? If I'm mature, maybe.
Assertive, darling.
Yeah, assertive, there we go. So let's try it. Let's try and be like other people. Let's try and be really understanding. Let's think, and let's be rational. And I did it. And I went in a hole, because I get typically quite a lot of adversity, quite a lot of negativity thrown in my path. And I can't deal with it being all soft and all relaxed and lackadaisy, because it makes me sad, it makes me depressed, it makes me cry. I'm not comfortable doing that. So I have to carry myself in a way in which supports me, protects me, and protects my family against all the people that always consistently try and shut down success.
So what occurred then? Because I can see, like, you know, in that story, we've got both of these. It's like, well, I want to be soft, I want to lead with love, but the love's going to be tough, because actually they're not going to listen to me if I'm not tough. And again, bring it right down to that wound. Yeah. Darling, I want you to come home having punched them in the face. Yeah. If they come at you with a machete again. Yeah. And you know, there's that kind of thread that comes through it. And so you went into a boxing gym.
Yeah. I wanted the boxing gym to get assisted in my predicament. And what I understood was I could fight a little bit. I never said, but when I boxed in the military, so when I was in the military, I managed to win everything. So I won the battalion, the infantry, the army, and the combined services. Then I won a national championship, which means you're number one.
I just forgot to mention.
I apologise, darling. Yeah. So I achieved all that. So then when I come into boxing, as a civilian, I was like, I think I know what I can do. I can set up a company that offers motivation and fitness around self-defense. And that's what I did. I set up my first company. It's called Veni Vidi Vici, which is Julius Caesar thought I came, I saw, I conquered. And I called it Veni Vidi Vici Fitness and Conditioning. And I got fully booked. But check this out, Mary. Because I lacked so much confidence, right? I didn't pitch my services. I gave them away for free. And upon giving away my services for free, just as an exercise to build my confidence up, people were pulling me away, saying, Rhys, I'm really uncomfortable with taking your time and your energy, because it's just fucking tremendous. Like, I would like to pay you £20. So I'd have to say, okay, 1 minute, I'm so sorry, I need the toilet. And every 20 quid they gave me, I'd cry my eyes out. Because it meant that I'd be able to pay a few bills, right? So what I did is I'd go home, because I never had a bank account, I'd put 18 quid in a DVD case and go and give my mum 2 quid. Or buy the boxing news. And I did that to get out of my overdraft, to consolidate my mum's debts, consolidate my debts, and obviously to be in a quite a comfortable financial position now.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh, that is beautiful. So there's a lot of kind of healers in our environment, in our audience, people that potentially are giving away their services or not charging for their services that may be what they're worth and what their values are. And that might be around money mindset. There's an awful lot of different things that can contribute to that. Yeah. So how did you shift then from offering because you're passionate and you're going to give it anyway, whether they're paying you £1 million or they're paying you £20, they're going to get you and, you know, and your ball of energy.
Yeah.
So obviously that's what was happening and the money started coming in. How did you then start to scale your own mindset, your own heart set?
Well, here's the thing, right? Here, I can't teach what I have. My mum is a lioness, right? She has beat cancer 3 times. She's got COPD as we speak, type 4 kidney failure. She's got one eye in which she's got cataracts. She can't walk, yet my mum cracks jokes every day. Mary, she is a lioness, right? And she is my absolute inspiration. Tell me what your question was. What was your question?
Well, first of all, I really want to say, fantastic. I love that. She's a lioness. She's a goddess.
I lose myself when I speak to my mum, man. And when I speak about my mum, I want to speak about her for like hours, darling, man. Blows me away.
Tell us about her. Tell us about her, because she's the inspiration that's moved you into this space of prosperity.
Do you know what it is? Okay, my mum was a tremendous role model, man, because I never want to be like her. And my mum gets it, right? So here's the thing, Mum, I take so much love from you. I believe your perspective is animalistic. I think you're the strongest queen that I've ever met. And I take those from you. But reference your ability to just be happy with nothing and struggle day to day. I want the polar opposite, Mum. And I'm really grateful that you shone that light to me. Because listen, I've surpassed all the people that I was jealous of in school. Everybody, because I wasn't given nothing. I was given nothing. And I'm just really grateful. My mum taught me how to love. She taught me how to be respectful. She taught me how to stand for no shit, regardless, right? Regardless of what people say and think, stand for nothing, stand for no shit. But every single day I used to be like this. I come home from school. My mum wakes up at 5:30. She goes to work at 6:15 to a batch bar. She comes in at 3:30 a.m. in which the whole house then smells of pork scratchings because she was working in a batch bar, which made me heaving sick. So it used to affect my breakfast in the morning. And I remember thinking, but we still got no cash. What's it for? And that's what I was always exposed to. Massive contrast. Love, some would say fucking poverty.
Yeah. And that's interesting because I think Tony Robbins mentioned something about this, doesn't he? He's like, one of his moments was, how can my father be working all the hours God sends and making nothing when I'm seeing other people not working as much and making tons more? There's got to be something in it. And go.
Yeah, because I understood that. You know, I'm talking to a different community, and obviously I deal with a lot of business owners, millionaires, and things like that. So I apologise, and I don't apologise really, but let me explain if I come across a certain way, guys. If you're offering a service, okay, and it's in the therapy side of things, okay, bearing in mind I'm a timeline therapist, I'm a trainer of hypnotherapy and all that nonsense, right? You have to understand there has to be a divide between your services and what you charge and how you show up and feel about that. Because what's going to happen is because we're all alike, we give and we want to make positive impact and change, right? We'll do that to our own detriment. And what happens is you'll do it to the point of a breakdown, then get a tax bill and be like, oh shit, well, next time if I'm gonna have a breakdown, maybe I should be able to afford my tax bill too.
Yeah.
And it changes your mind. I've been there, darling, five times. And you need to understand that from an outside perspective, if you actually put a price tag on your services, they'll be valued more.
And this is a key. I love this because I talk about this a lot in my astrology side as well.
Okay.
But what I want to kind of bring into now is, you know, the polar opposite, at least on the outside, like you talked about, of where you were when you were small, where you are now, you know, this beautiful home, gorgeous wife, a set of dogs that should literally be put into some kind of show home of their own. And along with, you know, the Bentleys, the Ranges, the lot, and the 7 figures in the bank. But not just that, the motivation to run the different companies that you run. And as you run those, be giving to all the people that you're giving to, so that they can go out and they can pull themselves out of where they've been too. And it's that kind of piece that I'm interested in, because you've got the wisdom. It's like each wound was giving you, you know, a little bit more wisdom. How did you start to apply that wisdom to then start generating wealth?
It was very interesting, and I've got just a real clear answer for you, because it's all just happened, right? So firstly, I massively appreciate the fact that I come from, that you see that I come from a nice place, right? Anyone that's ever worked with me or come into my sales funnel has left avoiding suicide, quitting alcohol, quitting cocaine, moving away from abusive relationships. From a business perspective, new cars, new houses, new holidays. That's what I do. I create success. It's all social proofed online. It's everywhere. Okay. Here's the thing. How do I consistently step up and show myself? Now, here's the thing, right, Mary? I have this in-depth awareness that life takes away from us all the time, right? The only way we can stop life from taking away is being progressive in our endeavors, because I believe we all have this unique imprint, right? This unique opportunity to do something fucking spectacular. Could be anything, like could be making jelly, could be flying a plane, could be anything, right? But every time we procrastinate or stop or give in to the negative internal dialogue or listen to something external that tries to discourage us, you are actually taken away from how great you can be. Now, the pain of that thought is too much for me to bear, which is why I'm so motivated. Does that make, I can't live not being my best.
And that's amazing, because I think there's a lot of us out there, and I want you to drop in the chat right now.
Yeah.
If it's hard for you, be really, really, really honest. Is it hard for you to live in your best every day? Is there times when you look in the mirror and you say, I thought I would be further ahead than I am right now? Is there times when, you know, you wake up on a morning and go, I can't give my best today? Because I think it's them moments. Yes. Procrastination is my demon. Yes. Who else? Pop in the chat for us so we can see. I want to see more so now than ever. Heavy heart. Okay. So we've got these people that are like, okay, Rhys, I get it. You want to be the best, but how the fuck do I do that?
Okay,
what
then.
do I get to do?
I love your energy, Mary. This is a level of interview that I wanted to come at. So I turned quite a lot of people down. So well done for this level of energy that you're bringing. I really like it. So we can make this tangible. So if you can write this down, guys. So you got a bit.
Yes, write this down.
This is just a little 1% of what I give, and you as well, Mary. I think it's very valuable, right? So you want me to deal with procrastination, and you want me to deal with people just developing, right? So if you can write down 3 circles, so a small circle, a bigger circle, and then a bigger circle around the top.
Around each other?
Yeah, around each other.
Yeah.
The middle circle is number 1, the circle outside of that is number 2, and the circle outside of that is called number 3.
Okay, hold on. Is everybody doing this? Has everybody grabbed a pen? I want you all to do this because we're about to get some wisdom dropped.
Yeah, some real education, man. Not stuff that you can actually do the moment after I get off the call. It's genius.
Exactly. Do it with you. We want to do it with you, Rhys.
Okay, so let's do it. So you got the 3 circles, yeah?
Yeah.
So the 3 circles should look like that, okay?
That's the one.
Okay.
A nice boobie. It looks like a boobie to me.
Yeah, it looks like a big breast, okay? So number 1, right, comfort zone.
Comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right.
Number 2, next to your 2, if you look on the circle outside of number 2, it's called your stretch zone.
Strength.
Stretch zone, sorry.
Stretch.
Yeah, I had wind. I tried not to vouch.
Nice. Stretch zone.
I try.
Stretch.
Yeah. And then the one outside of that is called your panic zone.
Oh, panic zone.
Okay, so what we need to understand, people, and I'm just going to talk for a couple of minutes if you can make some notes. Everybody wants to be progressive in life, whether it's to learn more from an emotional standpoint, a spiritual standpoint, from a personal development standpoint, or indeed a physical or financial one. But what no one really pays attention to is what gets you there. Okay? Now, as adults, Mary, me and you know that on the backside of adversity or hardship comes huge success. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Based on our ability to get through it.
Through it, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you understand? So I'll call it growing through life rather than going through life, right?
Nice. Write that down, everybody.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now with this diagram that I've given you, it's going to be called zones of operation, and I'm going to give you framework in which we can actually manufacture adversity at our own cost so we progress and develop. Yeah.
Hold up.
Listen, and you wonder why, people. Right.
See, this is the Rhys I know. You wonder why, people. I want everybody who was here with Richard McCann to listen to this. You asked this question: how can we face our fears and move through them before they slap us in the face? Rhys is going to teach you how to generate adversity so you can literally accelerate.
But
okay, go.
The beautiful thing is, I'm not only going to teach you how to do it, but I'm going to do it so it's aligned to your individual beliefs and values. Because when I entered the marketplace, I understood there was a lot of sheep. Okay, and there were a lot of people that were going, following the wrong advice. So I thought, let's design something that can create robust individuals. Okay, so we've got number 1, 2, and 3. Comfort zone, stretch zone, panic zone. Okay, then. So I want you to write down number 1, and I want you to do 3 columns: emotional, physical, financial, and we'll add a 4th one because of the demographic I'm speaking to today: spiritual.
Say them again: emotional,
physical, financial,
and spiritual.
Yeah, and look, let's be absolutely real and honest. This could be like the wheel of life. You could throw other things in there as well. Relationship status or confidence, things like that, okay? Now, what I want you to do, guys, this is going to be your homework, okay? I want you to make a list of 5 things in each area that you do every day that makes you comfortable. So what are the 5 things you do physically every day that makes you comfortable? What are the 5 things that you do? You see? Because now we've got a tangible asset that hands you your own ass.
Hold on. This is hilarious because is everybody else feeling this already as soon as he said it? As soon as he said it, does everybody just go, shit?
I'm the best coach, man. It's because here's the thing, right? I'm a huge believer in conversational techniques. I'm an NLP trainer, for crying out loud. But here's the thing. My clients have to own their progression. You own it by getting it on paper, because I calibrate a physiological response like this. Ooh, ooh. So already, there's room for growth. Yeah? Okay.
I love that.
Okay.
I calibrate your response.
Yes, that's it. People just assume Rhys is loud. Listen, I am the coach. Like, I'm the best. I process information. But what I want
You're talking to the same person.
Yes.
I'm so there, and anybody in this audience knows who I am. It's like I'm quite loud too, so I'm loving getting loud. If it's too loud for you all, just turn it down a little bit.
But here's the thing, if it's too loud, I implore you all to find something that makes you too loud too.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You understand though? Because we're just two people that are just really happy, you know, just
Yeah.
things. So then, comfort zone, you've got the 4 areas: physical, financial, emotional, and spiritual. And I want you to pay attention to how you felt when you put those things down on paper. Because I wanted to try and create an emotional response, right? I wanted you to feel a little bit of, oh shit, I could do more, I could be more. And I've been a bit easy. So now I've made you at calls. Okay. So many coaches fail to transition their client because they put them at effect. So
yeah, I get you.
So
Hallelujah.
Coaching suggestible, questionable techniques that make you a pause. So then you're ready to do the work.
Yeah, you're in responsibility. You're not taking responsibility. You're in responsibility. That's it's similar kind of language, but that's kind of how I would look at it. And so, okay, I want to see in the chat. Are you doing this? I want you to put 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, blow up the chat.
I'm very proud of you guys. It's Monday morning and everyone's hustling, so I'm massively proud of you. Well done. So
well done, everybody.
After the first phase, Mary, we then think, okay, then we know as adults, you know, if we've got a little kid and we say, you've always got to try your hardest, doing the things that you don't particularly like or enjoy, and they go, why? Because it makes you better, right? Yeah. That's what we told kids, but we forget it when we're older.
Yeah.
We're working and we're building relationships in our comfort zone. So I then want you to write down 5 things that you're not doing in your stretch zone every single day in the 4 areas that we've already discussed in the comfort zone. So these are things that you're not doing.
Now, give us a bit more clarity, because there's a lot of things I'm not doing.
Okay. Well, here's a beautiful thing. So we prioritize it. So firstly, let me give you physically. Okay, stretch zone activity for me at the moment, because I'm losing weight for a bodybuilding show, it is running, because I'm quite heavy, my joints are sore. So rather than just doing a run, because I'll be injured after, I'm doing fartlek training. So I'm walking, sprinting. That's a stretch zone activity that I have to do every day.
Right.
If I don't do that, I don't lose the weight for the bodybuilding show. Okay. Right. Financially, stretch zone. I've invested over 300 grand of my money into art.
I saw that. Yeah.
Massive stretch zone shit. Like, because normally I have it in the bank and it makes me comfortable. But obviously I get 34% in the bank. So I've established what I had to do to grow as a man, regardless of how uncomfortable it made me feel.
And to grow your wall space in the conservatory, because it looks pretty now with all your pretty pictures on there.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But you understand, so what we do is we establish what we should do outside of our comfort zone, and we make a list. And then we KPI ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. So what I mean by KPI, it's a key performance indicator, is you set yourself a strategic goal that you must achieve.
Yeah.
And how we make this even more tangible is we set a time frame. Because for all you procrastinators, you know, you'll say 2 weeks, I'll say 3 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Who just shocked themselves there? 2 weeks to 3 minutes. What? I know there's a few of you out there that's like, what?
Yeah. So what we do then is we make a list. And when you make the list down, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, be proud that you're making a list, because you're showing courage, but you are supposed to feel uneasy. So, woo, okay, there's an element of stepping up now. Okay. So you make that list, and it's your stretch zone list. And this is what I do. I'll create a bit of a shit sandwich here to put my clients in a bit of a predicament. Next to the list, Mary, I want everyone to write down what would actually happen if you don't do what's in the stretch zone. And the answers are always negative. It's always I'll stay still. It's always I lose out, or I could regress. So what we're doing then, we're embedding individual unique motivation to each individual, because everyone's got a different story.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm kind of already thinking like of who we've got in the audience and who's going to be watching later on the replays and how that's going to affect them. And I'm looking at, you know, we've got people out there that want to lose weight, that want to launch their business, that, you know, that want a new relationship, that want to feel healthier, you know, that want to create more finance in their life, more financial freedom, that want a bigger house or a more comfortable house, you know, a car that they can drive and feel proud of, you know, holidays, like you said, when we can get out of this mess and actually go somewhere. There's so many different things in our life. We've always got something on the go that we want to improve. So I'm encouraging everybody that's kind of doing this to really think about, because I know where you're kind of taking us next, to think about that one thing that you are so like, why does this fucking thing keep coming in my way? It's the thing that I can never get rid of. You know, for me, my audience know it's my weight.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why do you keep putting it off, love? You know how to do it. Who in the chat has got the same thing with something in their life that just keeps coming back? Rhys is helping you to crack that shit open right now.
You really have, because fundamentally, I remember watching something, and I know everything about personal development, okay? I'm a master inside and out. And I remember watching a video about Will Smith, and I've studied all the people I admire. Will Smith, Jim Carrey is one of them, Ashton Kutcher even, right?
Yeah.
Mega successful, genius guy. And I remember Will Smith doing a really basic video, and someone asked him a question, and he didn't lose his temper, but he went a certain way. And they said, Mr. Smith, how do you do it? And he shifted, man. He went from that charismatic, gooey, funny geezer to looking at the camera, and he said, like, you don't get it. Like, you just have to decide. That's it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You just have to decide. And that's it. But so many people, they just don't have that strength to make that one decision that's powerful enough to impact the rest of their life.
It's mad because it's true. It's so true, you know, and it is. I love this. Look, straight talk, straight walk, decide. It's so easy. But yeah, deciding in the mind, actually, it's the tiny decisions every time after that, because deciding isn't just once, is it? Deciding is deciding all the every.
Mary, can I give everyone a real big tip on how they can decide against their own emotional will? Yeah.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. If we were to think about this, you know, like brother to brother, sister to sister, right? We only don't make a decision to benefit our future because we're scared and we're fearful. That's the only reason. It's either that or you're just an asshole, okay? They're the two fundamentals, right? So if you're scared and you're fearful, firstly, I massively respect that. You know, I respect those emotions, right? And you should respect them too. But what you have to understand, right? You have to understand that those emotions are not real. They're there to actually prevent you from moving forward. And once you understand that, it's like fear, false evidence appearing real. That acronym, right? Once you're aware of that, I want you to ask yourself an impulsive question immediately when you're feeling that fear. What actually happens? What does your life actually look like? What is it actually going to map out to be and become if you consistently display that level of fear? Then you make a decision. Because the answer should be that catastrophic. If that doesn't give you the biggest internal driver, then it's just not for you. Period.
So hear that again. When that fear comes up, we ask ourselves, what would our life map out to be if we consistently lived in that level of fear? Wow.
Mary, you see, right? Because here's the thing. People will go, oh, Rhys, listen how loud is the volume. But listen to what I say. It's fucking unique, man. It changes lives because it gives people ownership. It gives people the courage, not based on what I say, but based on their own answer. I call it ROI, return on individuality.
Return on individuality. Well, that is perfect. So we've gone into the comfort zone. We've gone into the stretch zone. Give us the panic zone.
Here we go. So what we do now is we need to respect the fact that if we stay in the panic zone for too long, we can regress. because it is quite pressuring. So I just made it up, but it's the truth, right? So I say, if we can stay in your stretch zone for 2 weeks, it becomes your panic. If you stay in your panic zone for 2 weeks, it becomes your stretch. So our goal is to fight in those zones for as long as possible to increase, right? Now, what I say is, you stay in your comfort and your stretch zone for the first 2 weeks. On the last 2 days of the fortnight, you then set yourself panic activities, and you only do one in each. One in emotional, one in physical, one in spiritual, one in financial.
Yeah.
Why? Because it gives you that flash pan of that emotion, bit of anticipatory fear, bit of nervousness, okay? And that will give you a little bit more confidence, and then we go back. What do you think happens to your personal expectations after you've done this process over a 6-week period?
Everybody answer in the chat.
Yeah.
If you were being stretched over a 2-week period each time, and you had somebody holding you accountable, I think we need to, you know, really emphasize that, you know, community, or having a mentor, having somebody that holds you in that is really important here as well. But if you were in a stretch zone for 2 weeks, forward movement, growth, progression, what would occur if we were to give you a stretch after that? Would that be easier?
Mary, one thing that I really want to reiterate, I've worked with thousands of people, right? You know, people have come to me living out of a car and then they purchase a house within a year. I change lives for a living. When you have this approach to personal development, right, so it's tangible and you can physically witness people grow, rather than people saying, yeah, I feel better. They've actually, it's the most beautiful feeling in the whole entire world, because it provides a couple of things. It provides proof for other people around the person that's creating change. They then say, I can do it too.
Yes.
You pay it forward, you see, and it has this beautiful mushroom effect. So I try and encourage people, when going through progressive positive change, don't necessarily hold it in. You know, do what works for you best, but always try and communicate and pass on the positivity, because I believe it should be encouraged all the time. Whether it's, look, you can laugh, whether it's spirituality, whether it's being financially independent, whether it's fitness, I don't give a fuck. There's enough room for everybody, but it just has to be positive every day, period.
I love that. Pass on the positivity. It's like progressive positivity. So I knew we'd go over. Because
I'm not even started yet. What are you talking about?
I know you're not.
What are you talking about? I'm just getting warm, Mary. What's up with that?
You are. And I'd love to hear, because, you know, Rhys, let me be really, really clear and really honest. I think you might get this, is that, you know, you're different in the way that, let's say, my spiritual community are used to, although they've had exposure to me. So I'm loud and proud.
Out there, Mary. You're out there. You're up there in my chat and crazy.
Chisel. But at the same time, you know, what you're saying here is it really does follow on from what we were talking about before you came on. You know, this is, if you want to grow, you genuinely want to grow, and you have something in your sights that you want to achieve, there is a way that you can consciously evolve yourself through using what you're calling, you know, your wound. We don't just go in and say, oh, now I've got some wisdom. That was hard to go through. No, I'm hunting for the wisdom. I'm hunting for it. I'm actually creating my own kind of adversity to spring forth this
just
wisdom.
Write this down for me. It supports what you've just said there. You're hunting, yeah? It's called trench work. Write this down for me.
Trench work.
Yeah, write this down. I plus B equals R. Write it down.
I plus B equals R.
So moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, I massively respect your time and your energy, and on possibly an abrasive cup of coffee for you this Monday morning.
No, I think they want you. I think they want you to stay. But I mean, like,
I've got something I'm going to give, so don't worry about that. You know I'm switched on. Okay. So I is moving forward after this call. I want you to make a list of your positive intentions, please.
Positive intentions.
Yeah, okay. And then B, okay, is a list of your current behaviours. Yeah, I know.
Behaviours.
So you've got,
anyone got an almond croissant on theirs?
you see what I'm saying? So you've got a list of what you want to achieve in regards to your intentions. You've got a list of your current behaviors. And then what I want you to do for the R is write a list of your current results. And what you're going to see is they're going to see a massive gulf between how you're showing up every day as a human and how you behave between what you fucking tell yourself every day. And the gap in between is application. So what we do is we place what I've just taught you, zones of operation, in the application, because you're now going to be doing comfort zone, stretch and panic.
I mean, who wants to learn comfort zone, stretch and panic with Rhys?
That makes sense.
I mean,
so what I've just taught you there is just like a real tangible way in which we can imprint characteristics on paper, what we want to achieve. We've clearly established what makes us feel comfortable, what makes us feel stretched, what makes us feel panic. We've identified the fact that if we stay in each zone for 2 weeks, they fast become our predecessor, so comfort or stretch. And we've also said that your intentions are pointless if we don't understand what behaviors we've got that support that. And obviously that's called congruency.
Yeah.
So what I've tried to do on this call is give you a very small percentage of just a little bit of my history, but give you a little bit of motivation, but drop some tangible stuff in so that they can just whack this in the notebook straight away and get to work, man.
Yeah. And we know, don't we, that a lot of you are going to put it in the workbook and not get to work.
Ooh, oh, really? Can I just join in, right?
Yeah.
We call it shelf development, guys. I've just been given a £69,000 tax bill off the back of paying a 30 grand VAT bill. And I look back at 4 years ago, I was lying on a mattress opposite a crack house. And for me, that's pressure in a letter. That's anxiety in a letter. That's scary amount of money. I'm just Rhys, like I've got no support around me. But when I opened the letter this time round, I laughed and cracked open a bottle of champagne and said, well done, Rhys, because I've made that much money, I've got to pay it back. What a massive perspective shift. Now, let me tell you something. The resilience that I've got through paying silly amounts of money to the government and all that stuff, that's enabled me to have this mindset right now. If I look for an easy answer, if I try to avoid any adversity and if I try to escape it, I wouldn't have this frame of mind that I have now. So one thing that I really want to encourage everyone to do is just really look as adversity or hardship as a friend, but your ability to build a positive relationship with what's coming with you will determine what you get from it. So if you look at it negatively, and if you want to resist it, it's going to continue to come at you. If you say, no, okay, so come here and speak to me. Why are you entering my life right now? And what is the purpose of this? And then when you find out the highest intention of it, the abrasiveness goes and everything becomes a lot more consistent and productive, because there's no such thing as hardship. There's no such thing as hardship.
This is really powerful. And I think, we get to work on that again. I think it's this, when you change the perspective to gratitude of where you are, I love that. It's like, this young boy throwing the Boost wrapper at the Yellow Pages, crying his eyes out, there's fucking paper and wrappers all over his floor. And he's like, how did I get here? This is shit. To having a tax bill, that most of us don't like the tax man.
Yeah, man.
That is ridiculously high. And it's like, this is a problem I'm lucky to have.
Yeah.
This is a problem I have grafted to have. And it brings us right back to what you said is, the higher you go, the more growth you experience, the more resilience you require. Yes. And so when you go from that comfort zone into that stretch zone and then into that panic zone, you literally, and I loved what you said, that stretch soon becomes your predecessor.
Yeah, man. Facts. Facts.
That's it. It's like, I am momentum in flow. I wake up and I am on the move. And it's going to take some time, isn't it? It's going to take a couple of tries where you feel groggy and you don't want to get up and do it, but before you know it, like you said, you are moving forward.
You know what it's about, Mary? And please, everyone, write this down. It's not about what you feel, man. It's about the objective. Are you kidding me? Like, so many people get in their own way. Like, who said it's supposed to be fun? Like, it would be great if it was, but what's more important, your excuses or the goal? Like, look, come on, let's cut all the bullshit. Like, what's more important? Like, because let me tell you one thing. I was training 3 times a day, visiting my mum twice a day in hospital, right? And walking to the hospital because I couldn't afford the bloody car park fees at Walsgrave Hospital whilst preparing for a bodybuilding show, right? I had to go and rob my mum decaffeinated tea bags from the local. She still don't know to this day. I hope she's not watching this because I couldn't afford it. I had to go home and light candles because I couldn't afford electric. I had to make meal prep with candles.
I want you to tell everybody, and you know, again, you can see Rhys's character anyway, but I really want you to give us a good show off now from robbing decaffeinated tea bags. This could be your headline. To, you know, give us what it is now. You know, don't be humble on this one. Show us, you know, what you've created.
Oh, so 4 years ago, I met Lorraine. She was working for World Pay. She pitched me. I was making £4,000 a year. She got us a place. She had to pay my rent, which was half off, 650 quid. Fast forward 4 years, I have 20 holidays a year. I've just come back from the Maldives, which was, I was there for 5 weeks. That cost me 40 grand. I have a Range Rover. I have a Defender. I have a Bentley GT Continental. I have a Lamborghini Huracan. I have 11 Rolexes that are all limited edition that you can't really get. I have an art portfolio worth over £250,000. I've just bought a Banksy piece of artwork. The infamous Banksy. I've got a whiskey portfolio. I've got a red wine portfolio. I live in a 6-bedroom former care home. Just been accepted for my first mortgage for £1.2 million. I'm just about to buy my mum's house cash.
Shit can work when you put yourself in the adversity.
Can I just say one thing, guys? Please. Like, this comes from my soul, man. Like, I always wanted to have what I've got. Now I've got it. It means absolutely fuck all. Okay. So I'm grateful. Okay. But there's so much more. Please. No one coaches it. No one teaches it. What actually happens when you've achieved it? Because it gets harder. Because now you've achieved it, where do you go? So understand, please, the skill sets and the resilience that you learn through transitioning through comfort, stretch and panic, they actually really enable you to be progressive throughout life, period. Because they teach you skill sets that they don't teach you in schools. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I just, you can't skip a phase, you can't skip a level. And I don't need to know you to tell you that I believe in you, man. But you have to do the work, because 4 years ago when I met you, Kate, or however many years ago, I was hiring out supercars to come to you.
Yes.
Now I've bought them all.
I know.
You know, and
I love that, and that's a great way to kind of like culminate. I know that the audience would love for us to basically play Tom and Jerry all day with like
it's great.
Comedy personal development. Maybe that's something on the horizon.
Possibly.
But I really, really love that, you know, when I met you, you were hiring supercars to kind of feel what that felt like and to be in that zone. And now they're sitting on your drive as a portfolio and as ownership. And, you know, that's testimony to you genuinely working hard. And I know that there has been adversity and there will be more to come, because that is growth. But I want to say a massive thank you to you, genuinely, for coming in, for sharing your story, for sharing your energy, for giving us a tangible, real way of looking at this snapshot of who the fuck we are on paper, so that we can say, no more bullshit, this is who you're being. You get to decide to change.
Yes.
And, you know, and you get to move forward. So how can they find you if they are not like already running back into the comfort zone and want to go into stretch?
Okay, so you can add me on Instagram. It's Big Rhys Coach, I think. Add me on that, or you can add me on Clubhouse. I don't use Clubhouse, but I'm building my profile up on it. Or you can add me personally on Facebook. What I will say is, send Mary a message should you wish for me to sit down with Mary and design some sort of mentorship that could combine actionable, tangible steps, but will align the values and the beliefs so we can offer a tangible service? If that excites you, speak to Mary. She can WhatsApp me and we can organize it. Because what I'm thinking, Mary, if they like my energy and what I bring to the table, do it so there's a measure of accountability and in a group format, so we can create a real beautiful positive energy where everyone's happy in their stretch and panic zones and objectively driven.
Sounds like it's exciting stuff. Look at this, Mary Kate, this would be fabulous. Robin, you've already worked with me and you were terrified at that. Can you imagine we bring together?
Power team.
Sign me up. Love it. You've just showed me how to flick my mind switch, Rhys. I've decided. Thank you. That's amazing. Okay. Really? I'd love that. Bring it on. Sounds wonderful. Absolutely.
Oh,
yes,
great.
thank you. Okay. Not terrified anymore. Embracing the stretch. Wow. Brilliant.
Can I say one thing, guys? Okay. Like, you's giving me that feedback. Just understand, please. I'm just an ordinary guy, man, from Coventry, like, fucked up my whole life, like, made so many mistakes, but I stuck at it. I continue to believe myself. I still get so much hate, so much negativity. It doesn't matter. It won't impact me because I'm being my best version of myself. So to receive that, reflect it back on you, because I use a terminology called perception as projection.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So take ownership. Don't give me compliments, man. Give yourself compliments for being on this fucking call.
Have you seen this?
Have you thanked yourself? Sorry?
Rhys is the Jaguar.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I think Robin's getting a little bit hot.
Okay. So, Mary, just a personal one. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I love your energy. I love your perspective. I love your niche and your unique selling point. I think you're remarkable what you do. So thank you very much again.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very, very excited to be able to share this out. And for everybody that is here now, please give a massive thank you to Rhys for his energy, for his showmanship, but for also his humility, his authenticity, and his genuine generosity. Such a great interview. Thank you so much. And you know, we'll be in touch on the back of this. And
I hope so.
I'm excited too. So let's bring it for Rhys. Give me loads of claps. I wish we could see everybody.
Yeah, thanks again. So that was tremendous. Thank you so much. Okay.
So much love. Go and give lots of love to that beautiful girl of yours and those pups.
Thank you very much. I'm proud of you, Mary. Okay, well done. Massively proud. Well done, darling.
Thank you, darling.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thank you. See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.